Good morning, girls. This is teacher Samah with you again. How are you? Okay. Have you done your homework? I hope you have, because today we will continue with the passive voice form, but with a different tense this time. Past continuous tense. I hope that you have already done all your homework and practiced enough, so this lesson would be easier for you. Okay. Before we start with the passive voice form, let's make a very quick revision for the past continuous tense itself, when and how to use it. Here we go. When to use past continuous. You know that we have already discussed this, and there are 3 uses for past continuous. First one, we usually use past continuous to describe an action that was in the middle of happening at a stated past time. Like, for example, I was drinking tea yesterday at 4 p.m. So at 4 p.m. exactly, I have already been drinking tea. So I have started, haven't finished yet, so the action was still happening at that particular time. Okay, I also use it for 2 simultaneous actions in the past. Simultaneous means that these 2 actions are happening at the same time. Like Amy was reading a book while her brother was watching TV. So both of them were doing 2 actions at the same time, 2 different actions happening at the same time in the past. Okay. We also use it for an action that was in the middle of happening, but it got interrupted by another past action, a long action that was happening, like the kids were eating. When Emily entered the room, a short actions came and interrupted the first action. Okay, how to use past continuous? It means the verb's form. Okay, the verb in past continuous is formed from 2 words. Past form of verb to be plus verb with ing. Let's see. All active sentences must start with the subject verb, then the object if needed. The subject could take the form as the pronoun I, singular nouns, or plural nouns. Okay, so if the subject was the pronoun I or singular subject, verb to be would take the shape would be like was plus verb with ing. Plural subjects would be like were plus verb with ing. Okay, now let's start with the passive voice form. Okay, you all know now that passive voice is used when I have more focus on the object than the subject, or that I want to start my sentence with the object. If I want to keep the subject as a secret, or maybe I don't know who did the action, or it's not important, or maybe the action itself is more important than the subject, and in these cases we said that we have to use the passive voice form instead of the normal active sentences I usually use, right? Okay, passive voice as a revision is the situation in which you show more interest in the person or object that receives the action rather than the person or object that performs the action, but you already know that now. And in all passive voice sentences, I repeat that I don't change the tense. So past continuous stays past continuous, but we change the form of the verb because we have changed the order of the sentence, of course. Okay, in this case, we always start our sentences with the object. The verb must have the combination of verb to be plus verb 3, no matter what the tense is, and by then the subject. Okay, as for past continuous, in active, the sentence must be like subject, the verb to be in the past was or were plus verb with ing, and the object. This is active sentences. This is normal way of forming a sentence in past continuous. But if I want to change it into passive voice, first of all, I take the object and put it at the beginning of the sentence. Here it goes all the way down, and Then verb to be, was or were. Okay, I use it, but this time it has to be suitable for the object because it's the one who takes the lead. Then the ing form, to show that it's continuous, would be added to verb to be, being. Okay, finally the action would be in past participle form or verb 3, and at the end, if I want to mention who the subject is, I would use it after by. Okay, now for the examples. Scarlett was cleaning her room yesterday at 11. Okay, let's analyze this sentence. Scarlett is the subject, was verb to be in the past with singular subjects, cleaning verb with ing, her room is the object, and finally yesterday at 11 is the time indicator that shows that this action was happening at a stated past time. Here we go. If I want to change this sentence from active to passive, the object, which is her room, would go all the way down at the beginning of the sentence. But the question is that this object starts with a possessive pronoun. Can I just start my sentence with a possessive pronoun? That would be inappropriate because a pronoun must refer to something, and I haven't mentioned Scarlett yet. So I would change the possessive adjective into the noun again with the possessive s. Here we go. Scarlett's room. Okay, it's singular, so was. The ing with being. Finally, the action cleaned by her. To avoid repetition, I could say by Scarlett, but that would be confusing. Scarlett's room was being cleaned by her, an object pronoun to replace the subject, which is her. Yesterday at 11. So the sentence was Scarlett was cleaning her room yesterday at 11, and in the passive voice it became Scarlett's room was being cleaned by her yesterday at 11. More examples. Let's see. Anna was washing the dishes while her sister was doing her homework. Two simultaneous actions in the past. The sentence that I'm interested in is the first one, and I want to change it into passive voice. Here we go. Let's analyze it. Anna is the subject, it's singular. Was washing is the verb to be in the past plus ing, and the dishes is the object and it's in plural form. Here we go. The dishes, which is the object, it's plural, so was would be were, being with the ing. Finally, the action with a past participle form. Okay, it's like were being washed. Finally, if I want to mention the subject, Anna by Anna while her sister was doing her homework. Okay, again, Anna was washing the dishes while her sister was doing her homework. I should have used singular instead, but it's okay. The dishes were being washed by Anna while her sister was doing her homework. One more example. Here we go. Our neighbors were painting the wall when I passed by. Okay, a long action was interrupted by another past action. Okay, our neighbors is the subject, it's in plural form, where painting is the verb formed from verb to be, were in the past, and verb with ing. The wall is the object, it's singular. Okay, when I change it into passive voice, it would be the wall would go all the way down. Okay, verb to be will take the form was because the object now is singular. The wall was being, ing with being. Finally, the action would be in verb 3. It's regular, so I just add ed. The wall was being painted by our neighbors when I passed by. Is that clear? Good. One sentence with negative form. We were not baking a cake when our mom came into the kitchen. So we is the subject, were not, verb to be with not, in negative form. Baking, verb with ing. A cake is the object and it's singular. Okay, a cake was not being baked. A cake, singular, so verb to be turned to be was. Negative, I keep the negative with verb to be. Ing goes with being. Finally, the verb take would be in the past participle form, baked. A cake was being wasn't being baked by us when our mom came into the kitchen. Okay, do you have any questions? I hope not, but if you do, feel free to contact me anytime. Now, for the exercise, change the underlined sentences from active into passive voice, and be careful. You know that I always use tricks in my exercises. I'll just read them. Andy and his children were playing Monopoly when I phoned him. So the sentence that should be changed into passive voice is the first one. Andy and his children were playing Monopoly. Yesterday at 8, I was preparing dinner. While Aaron was washing his car, his children were swimming in the pool. Number 4, Tom is drinking coffee at the moment. Number 5, they were surfing the internet at that time. Number 6, everyone was cheering me and I felt so happy. Okay, please do these sentences, change them from active to passive voice on your notebooks and contact me as soon as you do. I will send you the model answers soon enough. Okay, if you need anything, check your booklets at page 22 and feel free to contact me on my Instagram or on my face WhatsApp. You know that you know my number now. Okay, and good luck. Your teacher, Samah.